welcome to this Living Memory Association podcast. I'm Russsell, and today we're doing things a little differently. Instead of looking back at folks' memories and experiences, we're going to be thinking about future generations and how they might look back at us. Have a listen to this. So today I'm at West Calder High School and I'm interviewing some of the pupils who have been looking at a museum of the future, and they've been choosing themes and objects that a Martian or somebody from an alien planet would be able to look at and get a sense of humanity in 2024. So it's over to the pupils.
Hi, I'm Grace. So my group picked coronavirus as our theme, and we chose just really basic objects that we had at the time. So we had masks, uniforms from the NHS and all the different departments. We had COVID tests, hand sanitizer, cotton swabs, just the things that you would use in everyday life that we haven't really used in any kind of other period of time. I think it was a time in everybody's life. It affected everybody some way, in one way or another, whether it was you were really little or you were kind of older, because I know a lot of us lost loved ones at that time, just because of the year groups that it affected. But I think it's one topic that had an impact on everybody, whereas other topics have only affected one generation or a couple of generations, but COVID was it's quite new and it's quite recent, and it affected everybody. But I think it was a really sad time, and it was just a really dull kind of couple of years for everybody, and I think it'll hopefully show them how much we've evolved, and hopefully the things that we used at that time will have grown and developed, and that'll help them get a better idea of what life was like when that whole coronavirus thing happened.
Hi, I'm Anthony. We've decided to pick just the story of Jesus, just in general, because religion might just change in the future or on a different planet.
Hi, I'm Alex. So in the Museum of the Future, we've chose a sort of crucifix to give people an idea of the things we believed on Earth. It had the sort of photos of some of the statues and models of things that you can see all over the planet.
What do you think visitors to Museum in the Future will make of the objects you've chosen?
I think they'd be kind of intrigued, because if life's on Mars and that time, it's probably something they've not seen before, so it'll be interesting for them, might draw them in.
Well, we wanted to tell a story of Jesus and his appearance and his death, to share the message that he could have passed on from his times.
How are you going to represent the objects in your museum display?
To be honest, it would probably be copies of objects, because all these things happened thousands of years ago, so it's probably not easy to get a hand on them, so it'd be sort of copies, but it still sort of shows the same meaning in them.
Hi, I'm Amelia.
And I'm Pranita.
Our theme is Christmas, so we've chosen a Christmas tree, as that's a big symbol, and everyone who celebrates it, it's a really important thing to have in their house.
Why did you want to tell the story of Christmas particularly?
Christmas is just a really important and well-known holiday on Earth, by millions of people celebrate it, so it's just, if it was to be different, I think it would be interesting for people to know. Well, I have a Christmas tree that I'd be able to bring in, so there's a physical copy of an actual item, so for people to be able to see.
And would it be decorated?
Yeah, it would be.
What would you put on the tree?
I'd put tinsel, put Christmas lights, put different baubles, and a star on top as well.
To start, we weren't really thinking of Christmas. We just wanted to do holidays, because we wanted to show what people did when they took a break from work or school. And then we decided that Christmas would be the best one, because most of our team members had most experience in Christmas, and it's the main holiday in humanity, so that's why we chose Christmas, as it'll be the easiest one for us to do.
I know you've been doing some research on museums in the future, so what have you discovered or found out about that kind of excites you about the idea of a future museum?
Well, traditionally, if you think of going to museums, you would just think of objects put on displays, and maybe a person taking you around and explaining the different displays. But when we were researching, we saw many videos of museums with no objects at all. It would just be a blank room with projectors everywhere and different speakers, so you can see whatever you want to see. So it doesn't limit you to anything, so you can literally see anything you want and experience anything you want. So I think that's quite exciting and different to what we normally have.
What do you think the museum visitors' experience will be like in a future museum?
It might be close to the real thing with the new projections and sort of integrated realities that are starting to appear. So you're able to transform and envision everything, just the power of technology.
So you'll be closer to the subject matter, you might feel it more.
Yeah, especially with 4D and movies with visual effects now that are if it's raining in the movie, there's sprinklers on that you feel. I feel it would be a lot closer to reality. It's going to be completely different.
If you had access to the technology now to interpret your theme of Christmas in a museum, what would you use?
Well, I think it would be interesting to do a timeline of Christmas, how it evolved, and the different things that people did and the decorations that they used, because it hasn't stayed the same over the years. It has definitely changed a lot.
Well, I think it would be nice if there was actual Christmas music for what people do, and because there's obviously been new songs released over the years to celebrate the holiday, so I'd like that in the museum.
What do you think people of the future will make of it?
I think that they would understand that life was just completely different compared to what they live now. And for example, Mars, that would be taking a 180 just because of just the environment that they grow up in or live in is completely different than on Earth.
Do you think they'd be surprised at humanity in any way?
Probably. With Christmas, obviously, the tree's one of the biggest symbols of it in modern day. So on Mars, I don't think there's trees at all, to be honest. So the nature side of things on Earth would be shocking to them, I think.
Grace, is there anything you'd like to add about what you've enjoyed about this journey?
I think it's really good to see the perspective that we can look at it of what the people in the future might think of these kind of topics, because obviously we only know it as when it happened and we were in that position, but we don't know what people in the future are going to think of that, so it's good to look at that in a different perspective. I've not really seen anybody make a museum about coronavirus because it's so recent, and I don't think anybody's thought, I think it's too recent to make it into a museum, but as a generation I think it's important that we remember that time, because it was just a really difficult time for everyone, and no matter what age you were, it did affect you one way or another, so it's important to keep that in mind.
A huge thank you to Alex, Amelia, Anthony, Grace and Pranita and all their classmates for contributing to this project. Thanks also to teacher Mr. Casey, Alistair Fenton from our Wee Museum at the Centre Livingston, and Emma Peattie from West Lothian Council Museums and Archives. The Living Memory Association is grateful to Museums Galleries Scotland for their support of this project. You can also check out our life stories and Away for the Messages podcast series. You can find these on Libsyn, Spotify, or wherever you download your podcasts. You can also follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and X at Thelma Scotland. Thanks for listening. Until next time.